Well, hello there. So today we are not going to be talking about needle felting or fiber painting at all. We're going to be talking about rock painting and specifically painting rocks in preparation for the Christmas season coming up. Now, this has been a bit of experimentation for me, so I want to share my learnings with you. And there are two main learnings that I would like to show you. So here's an example of one of the rocks that I have painted. I did some gold and I did some silver rocks. The two learns were the material, the medium that I used to create the gold and the silver look to it, which as you can see is very high sheen. And the second thing was to show you how I do my artwork, because a lot of people say, Sarah, how do you come up with the designs you come up with? I'd love to see you. Well, this gives you an example of me showing you my artwork in action. So here we go. I'm going to show you a couple of videos and I will put the materials that I use in the comments below. All the best and have a great rest of your day. Alrighty, so what we see here is a sped up version of me putting the Amaco Rub and Buff medium onto these rocks. Now, you don't need a lot of this stuff. It goes the distance. It says on the packet that one tube will cover 20 square feet, but I would be very skeptical about that. Now, I was wearing these plastic gloves. Definitely do that because the stuff gets everywhere. And you'll see that I'm deliberately putting it just on the top of the rock, not underneath. I couldn't see any purpose in doing that. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to fill in the little crevices, and I'm also around the edges of the rock. I'm just blending it in, blending, and you'll see I will turn the rock over and I will just blend it a little bit more on the edges, and I even sort of, put whatever was left on my glove over the base of the rock again, just to sort of blend it in. Went back, filled in a little bit of the holes. But yeah, I was really happy with the result. I do think you would need to use sealant. So once you've put the wax on, once you've buffed it, so you'll see shortly that I will be using this rag just to buff it off. It is called rub and buff, so you do have to buff. There we go, we're doing some buffing. And excuse me, that it's supposed to enhance the shine, but also I'm sure it will take off any residual wax that's on there. I went back, I just filled in a few of the crevices. Now you'll see the silver version in the bottom right corner. So the gold version I used was Grecian gold, and the silver is called silver leaf. The silver leaf rubs off a whole lot more than the gold. So definitely once you've painted them, you will need to use a sealant. Alrighty, so this gives you an idea of how I do my designs. So you'll see I use a Posca acrylic paint pen there. So the color is white, and it's a 0.9 to 1.3 millimeter bullet shaped pen, and it actually works really, really beautifully for this purposes. I don't pre-draw my illustrations when I'm doing these rock paintings. I'm just painting straight onto the rock. I presume you could probably try, oh golly, I don't even know. You could probably try using carbon transfer paper, or maybe a chalk. The chalk transfer paper might also work. If you had like a white chalk paper, you'd have to really experiment with that. But yeah, I just came up with a few different Christmassy designs. Now, you will know from my needle felted fiber painting that I work in a very, some people call it cubist, some people call it stained glass. Either way, I don't mind which description you use. All is true. I have influences from my different things that I love in life, and certainly all types of glasswork is one of those influences. And yeah, so I've been kind of doodling in this style for years, since I was a child, and doing greeting cards and things. So this design is nothing new for me, but definitely like it. Drawing on the rocks is a little bit of a challenge because they're pitted. So you just have to be a little bit careful, especially if you're wanting to do a very precise line. And you'll notice that sometimes I just, oops, maybe I went off a little bit. Let me just fill in that shape so that you don't see I went off a little bit. Also, it was interesting, the different types of rocks that I experimented with. Obviously, the very smooth rocks are a lot easier to paint than others. I have seen online people using all different, painting in all different beautiful colors. I presume you can just use any type of acrylic paint, and you can use brushes. I just find that these pens are really, really good. So yeah, so I definitely recommend using these Posca pens, and they do come in other brands as well. Just one thing that I mentioned earlier, but kind of skipped over it quite quickly, is that the silver paint it went further. When you're using smooth rocks, the rub and buff goes further than it does when you're using pitted rocks, and painting on it works very well. But just be very careful that white paint on a silver rock doesn't show up that clearly. Anyway, here you go. So that's a little example of how I do my designs. I hope you liked it, and yeah, have fun making your Christmas decorations.